Hello, everybody. My name is Ron Swarthout, and this is Just a Little Guy, a podcast in which I collaborate with some of my favorite folks from all around the world to whip up a brand new batch of beasties for all your creative needs. Our guest this week is an artist and a streamer. Also, he really likes D&D. Please welcome to the show the man known as Lunchbauks. Hey, Lunch, how's it going?
It's going well. Going well. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty all right.
Good.
Just hanging out here, getting in the monster making kind of mood, you know? Not in that kind of weird way, but...
I'm there too. I've been thinking about it all day.
Oh, good. So then we should do all right.
I think so. Yeah. All day while I was working from home, I'm just, I got that thing today. And we're gonna
make those monsters.
Gonna make these monsters. I didn't want to. There was a piece of me that was like, you know what? I need to go look up a few cryptids and stuff just to warm up, get the creative juices flowing. Yeah. And I'm like, no, let's just make it organic. I just want to see what happens. And I think that's the best way to go.
Sure. I definitely don't do that when I'm looking for inspiration.
Of course.
Not at all.
No, never.
Never, ever. So as I said in the introduction, you do play a lot of tabletop games in general.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a while there you had a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. What's your philosophy when it comes to DMing, in terms of setting up encounters?
I'm really big on rule of cool. I also like to subvert expectations of the players. I typically like to run for new players, one because they can hide my sins way better, easier. They don't know any better. And then, I'm very much about if something cool happens at the table, I want that to be the focal point of the combat or the battle. So actually my monsters are not really the center point. They may have an objective or a goal or something involved, or maybe they have some special weapon or some sort of, something to differentiate, like the mini boss monster or whatever from the little underlings. But I kind of play my combat based off of the characters. And so as they do things, that can morph. I'll have a general idea of what I want this combat to be like. And then as they do things, if there's an opportunity to, add some flourish, that would say lend itself to some role play or some sort of hints or things that might come down the line that I didn't think of, I'll throw that in, and I kind of flavor up the monsters so basically I'm giving you a semi-seasoned steak, and then we're throwing some finishing butter on it as we fight.
Nice. I've been watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares lately, or not Kitchen Nightmares, Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's
lately,
Kitchen.
So.
I like Kitchen Nightmares personally.
Me too.
That's my favorite. So Hell's Kitchen's okay, but I like whenever Gordon goes in there and starts to, this is rubbish.
Yeah, all the disgusting stuff happening around the restaurant. Just it's great. If it evokes a visceral reaction. Oh my God, I can't speak today. A visceral reaction.
Okay, we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely going to remember to delete this later. But that stuff kind of appeals to me quite a bit. So moving on from that though. So our first monster, as you know, is going to be I give it a name. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of work out from there what it looks like, where it comes from, its powers. And I've thrown in a special little thing here that's kind of a wild card, if you will. And that's a humanistic quality that it has.
Okay.
Something that makes it, maybe a little bit complicated.
Okay.
Or maybe it doesn't have one of those at all. Who knows? I'm still working on the format. I'm a professional.
It evolves just like these monsters.
Yes, indeed. So the first one I got is a name that I came up with, and I kind of looked at a description of another monster, and I was like, what would I call this thing? And I'm kind of curious what we come up with from here to kind of build it into something that's fully fleshed and completely different from the thing that I looked at. So the name that I chose for the first monster is the Rombaxulon.
Oh, is that RH?
No, Rombaxulon.
Rombaxulon. Man, that's fun to say.
Right?
There's so many that.
Fun little it's almost crunchy, but not really. I don't know how you would describe it, but yes.
I agree. A good,
so what do you
good
think,
flavor.
Where do you think that something like the Rombaxulon would come from?
Let's see. So like, I've been working out a lot lately, and so the first part of this word is the rhomboid is like what sticks out to me. So like maybe it's got like this real big, kind of like a hulking back or something, or like, it's really strong back, or maybe like some area in the rhomboid region, if you will. And so I would say maybe like things from an area, or like a place that you would need to use a lot of back muscles. So maybe it lives in trees.
Oh, I like that idea. I had no idea where you were going with that, honestly. I was like, so it
could be
hurls hay
1,000
bales?
ways. Yeah.
That's true.
It lives in barns, and it just throws hay bales. I enjoy this.
Yeah. It climbs trees, and it also works on farms to throw hay bales around. It doesn't even work on farms. It just wrecks them,
Yep. I mean, the back is versatile, so I mean, it could be a monster that swims too. So I feel like I'm just trying to think of like shrugging movements, and now that I'm thinking about it, maybe trees was not the best first choice, but I still like it. It lives in trees.
I still like it too, yeah. No, I mean, you could do a chin up from trees, and I imagine that's what you would use that region for, because I don't actually know what that is.
It'll be a part of that.
Sure.
You need a lot of shoulder work in there. Lats mostly, but this is included.
Of course. So it's got a big hulking back. What do you think its face looks like?
Oh man, what are we going for like a aesthetic here? I mean, do we want it to be terrifying? Do we care?
It would be kind of funny if it was cute, but I think that terrifying is kind of more fitting for something called the Rombaxulon, unless you want to go like ironic.
I agree, and I feel like so I'm just pulling from like recent memories, right? Like that's kind of like what's going to be fueling this. That's typically how things go for me. I recently watched the movie Annihilation. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but there's this, I don't even know what it's called, but it's basically like a bear that's been genetically mutated by this alien kind of shine that's happening in the area. And the face has kind of morphed into the skeletal structure. And so it's like a strip from the top of the forehead down to the top teeth has been like removed. So like all of that bone is kind of exposed. And so maybe the contrast between the bone and whatever fur and musculature that may be showing kind of makes a shape that's familiar. Like maybe the head itself kind of resembles like an owl.
All right.
Or something, if that's all you were to see, like from afar, like the only part that you could see is that white of the bone.
Yeah, I just looked up the image
of
that monster, and I'm just like, it's horrific.
Terrifying. And what it does is even worse. So
yeah, I'll save the spoilers for that, because I do kind of want to watch it now. Now that I've seen
I don't want to. Yeah, no spoilers here.
Okay, so it lives in trees. It's got a big hulking back that it uses to throw around hay bales or whatever it seems.
I imagine like
logs.
So with the back being so strong, like the reason that it is so strong is because it moves between trees. So it's not like a monkey, but like it grabs onto the tree, and it's so strong that it can just pull at the tree and launch itself to the next tree where it grabs onto the next tree. And that's kind of how it moves and skitters through the forest.
That's a really cool idea. Like, you kind of do the Naruto thing where he's like, flying, but he's launching himself.
Exactly. He's just, it's just one after the other with his arms.
Nice. That's a great idea. So that makes him speedy as well, and thus a lot more threatening.
Yes.
Let's see. Do we think he has any like kind of supernatural powers?
I'm thinking maybe like playing off the bird thing, right? Like, so birds have that what is that, magnetism? I forget what it's called. I'm not a biologist, but basically whenever they're in a group, like they can kind of be aware of where everyone's at, and it's almost like this kind of precognition type of thing going on with the magnetism of the earth and this something that's going on inside of their cranium, and it like kind of telelocates where they are in relationship to birds. Somebody who really knows things about birds is gonna be like, this guy's an idiot, but you kind of know what I'm talking about when they move as one.
No,
but it's a group. But like maybe expand on that, and so that kind of like emanates out as like an electronic kind of pulse, and it can like hone in on your nervous system, like the impulses in your nervous system, and you can feel it when it's around. And
I love that
it's idea. A way of communicating, but you don't know that that's what it is. It just makes you scared.
Oh, nice. So it instills fear in its victims.
Like it can, and also like, basically like emotional manipulation. But that's how it communicates.
Gotcha. So it's almost like a gaslighting kind of thing. Not necessarily,
it's a
but
gaslighting monster.
The gaslighter.
Its superpower is gaslighting. Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Perfect. I like it.
All right, that's cool. What else? Oh, so we got its face. We got that it's got a big hulking back. Do we think that it is furry, feathered, or fleshy? The 3 F's, my favorite question. Or scaly.
I feel like it's not fleshy because going through all the trees, it would probably have built up some sort of natural resistance to like branches scraping up against it and stuff. So maybe some amalgamation of scaly furry.
All right, scaly furry.
So like the arms are very scaly, but like the back is very furry.
Nice.
And I feel like
that gives me
maybe the legs are very small.
Small legs.
Like bats. Like maybe it even has like the bottom half of it where the legs are is like a bat, and it hangs upside down. That's how it sleeps.
Ooh, we'd never gone into like the sleeping patterns of a monster before. I think the closest that we got was in episode 1, the Just a Cat, which is one of the ones that Jaycorn and I came up with, was like basically a weasel that slept in like winter wear throughout most of the year and then emerged during winter to stare at Christmas lights and eat salmon.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely horrific. And it gets very upset if you interrupt it staring at the lights. I will say that much. Yeah. What else do we need to cover then? Is it going to be vaguely humanoid? Do you think other than the owl head?
So like the head just has like a, I'm imagining like if you were to see it not knowing what it was, your mind would put an owl there, right? Like your mind's kind of trying to suss out what's in the tree, and it sees that shape, and it's like, oh, that looks kind of like a barn owl. But outside of that area on the side of the head, it's got big bulging black eyes that are like kind of shiny.
That's
so like, and it really, you only notice that if it's nighttime, because I'm assuming this is going to be a nocturnal animal type of thing.
Yeah,
you'd only notice it if there's like moonlight. You know what I mean? That's when you'd see the gloss. But otherwise, it's just like these two deep pits because it's kind of still under the bone.
Oh, wow! That is like, I think I said bulging.
Eerie. That's little. I can see
maybe
it in my head.
More like concave kind of sort of thing, sunken in.
Yeah, like it's got big eyes, but like the ocular area, the bone area where the behind it is very large. So
okay, that's really interesting. I can picture this like in my head, and like
I guarantee you, if we both, or if anybody were to draw pictures of this, we'd probably all have a different version of what this looks like. But close enough. It'd be like different species of the same thing.
Yeah. We'll have to, maybe that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to draw it. And
I guess I have to now.
Like. Yep. There you go. You heard it here first. He offered to do it for free.
100%.
He's officially out of the Artist Guild.
100%. I've shown my hand. Dang it.
No, not again.
The art school's never going to forgive me. let's go back to the head a little bit. With the big eyes, and like if you got a close up look, it would be in a way sort of cute. Like
cute from close up.
Like a small child, if had no fear, was confronted with this, and it gave off the emotion of love or what have you, and it wasn't fear. You could see this being a real meet cute with like a little girl,
okay.
This isn't as scary as, and that's what it protects, now it protects the girl because it's now bonded with it.
Oh, so it'll like bond to children, and then
because like they're more curious. So like that's a different kind of, because kids haven't gone through like the human manipulation of emotions through advertising and nonsense and relationships and stuff. They're untainted. So like they can communicate with these things.
That's really interesting, huh? And then what do you think its end goal would be? Like, would it like raise the children as its own? Do you think that the Rombaxulon like uses that to like make other Rombaxulons by like converting the children into them?
Oh man. So again, here we go. I can't remember the name of the movie, but basically, the theory was based off of like, there were these aliens, and they're based off of this type of bird that I can't remember if it like if it drops its eggs off in other birds' nests and lets the other birds raise them. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah, I've heard about that with like a snake before. Is like it will drop off its own eggs.
It'll
or something.
Pretend like it's one of them. It. Yeah, and or that. Yeah, and so kind of like that. So maybe, it does. It accepts the children as their own, and maybe that's like their goal is like to find a child to be the thing that like they raise with their children so that they can feed off of the emotions and learn how to manipulate.
Oh, that's dark.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to get real dark here real quick, because that was not where I intended to go, but it made sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. What else? Oh, yes. So I never asked this, even though we kind of just went over this. Do you think there would be multiple Rombaxulon or just the one?
I feel like it would be like an endangered species, like something that was from, the only reason we know about it now is because the deforestation of areas and stuff like that. And so they've kind of died out as the Industrial Revolution took off. And so there's not many left. Very, very few, and like really, really rare to find, because maybe their main area, there weren't many to begin with. And then, deforestation and stuff like that has just kind of killed them off, and also like food sources and stuff like that.
What do you think it eats?
Oh, man.
Let's see. What's a thing that would be like really affected by deforestation?
I mean, birds.
Maybe there's like a specific. That's true. That's true.
Would be one.
I mean, that would make sense with like the owl kind of like head and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Birds, maybe like certain kinds of like moss.
Yeah. It's an omnivore.
Yeah. Maybe like certain species of salamander, or something like that.
And like certain fungus, could that grow? The certain tree. The kinds of fungus that grow on live trees. In certain areas. I don't know what areas might have that. I may be like, limiting where this thing can live, but but those things, you know what I mean? Like those, that like a whole, it's kind of got multiple sources, but all of them are being affected by deforestation. So
is there anything else that we need to add on to this guy?
He probably has a tail.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
Probably, maybe not too long, but like, enough to, it's powerful enough to get from tree to tree, but it still needs some balance. So, and the small legs are not helping it. And even though those are kind of like drafting wings with like maybe webbed wing, like parachute skin flap.
All right. Yeah. Like on the feet.
Yeah. Like across the crotch area. And then from the legs to where the lats, like the underneath the arms.
Wow. Okay.
Like
so that would make it a little bit more aerodynamic.
Yeah.
So kind of like a flying squirrel, I guess.
Yeah. So that's kind of like with those kind of skin, those areas of skin that kind of stretch, help them catch some air if they need it.
So we got big hulking back, skin like a flying squirrel, terrifying face, resembles an owl, but you could just see like sinew and like bone. It moves between trees by pulling trees down and by launching itself from tree to tree, but also it has a tail that is very powerful. Is that a feathered tail, do you think? Or is it like a one that wraps around like kind of like a monkey?
I'm thinking feathered. Like get all of it in there. You know what I mean? It's gonna have the scaly arms that goes into like the thick furry shoulder pauldron area, you know, that kind of like keeps it warm, that goes down its back, but it doesn't have a very long torso. And then the tail just kind of juts out like a bird's, where there's like, 45 feathers just crammed together. And it's kind of like,
right. No, it makes sense to me. All right. So we got that there. All right. What else do we got? I have so much here. It emanates a pulse that, oh God, I have it written so messily.
We'll call it an EMP, emotional manipulation pulse.
Ah, yes. An emotional manipulation
Not
pulse.
Electrical.
I love that.
Emotional.
Yes. It really delves into those feelings that you didn't let yourself do in your childhood
right.
or something.
That's right. Or if you did, that's what it's going to hone in on.
Yeah. All of your most embarrassing moments.
It's just turning that dial.
Yeah. It accepts children as its own, and then later uses them to feed off of their emotions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute from close up, and it bonds to kids. What's this thing I have over here? Endangered species, more or less. Only reason we know about it is because of deforestation. Yeah, scaly arms, furry back. I think that's everything that we've talked about so far.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. All right, well, that's the Rombaxulon, folks.
Bam.
Hope you like it. Hope it makes an appearance in one of your games or a story.
It 100% is going in one of my new campaigns.
Hell yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And you'll be in it.
Wahoo! I'm going to die. I keep saying this in all of the D&D campaigns that I'm in, and
it's
it
like,
never happens.
if you just say it, then it doesn't happen, right? That's the...
Okay, I don't know. I'm getting off track here. I don't know if you watch like What's Left of Us, which is the campaign that I'm a part of that we stream.
I've watched a few episodes of it, yeah. I did catch it. I followed Jay Corn, and whenever this all kind of started to happen, and I shifted over to Blue Sky and tried to start posting there more and saw some of those things.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have got a couple of...
Well, I won't spoil it for you, but basically I got myself out of a wee bit of danger by saying, hey, I'm going to die.
Well, I'll note that for later viewing.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm glad you didn't die.
Me too. Okay, so moving on to the next round. So we talked a little bit about this off the record, more or less. But you're from Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Were you born there?
No, I grew up in Texas, in North Texas, and then when I was 16, we moved to Flagstaff, Arizona. For my dad got another job, and he moved us out there, and I finished up high school out there, and then I moved to Phoenix to go to college, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So growing up, then, did you hear a lot of stories about like them? Tell me if I'm pronouncing this correctly. The Mogollon monster?
The Mogollon monster?
Mogollon. Yes, we're going to pronounce I said it correctly.
No, of course. It's I did the same thing whenever I first started hearing about the Mogollon Rim, which is like an area in northern Arizona. I have not heard much about that particular monster. I know about it. Like I've heard like it's being talked about, but I was very much, especially being in Flagstaff, there was a lot of kids that would come in from the reservation to go to school where I went to school. And so we would have a few of them on our football team. And so whenever we'd go on trips and things like that, we'd hear like the stories that they would tell. And what we would hear a lot about is skinwalkers. And that was like a big like taboo thing. Like it was like serious. Like you don't, like they wouldn't get off the bus to go use the restroom sometimes in certain areas. And like it was real. So like skinwalkers are like the thing that I was most familiar with in Arizona. I have heard of the Mogollon monster, but feel free to educate me. I would like to know, because maybe it's the same thing. It's just called something.
So the way that Wikipedia describes it, because I use the most wonderful sources. The Mogollon monster is commonly described as a large bipedal creature over 7 feet tall with large red eyes. Its body is said to be covered in long black or reddish-brown hair, with the exclusion of chest, face, hands, and feet. Reports claim that it has a strong and pungent odor described as that of, quote, dead fish, a skunk with bad body odor, decaying peat moss, and the musk of a snapping turtle.
This is the Arizona Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's the Arizona Bigfoot.
Okay, I have heard of that. I heard it called Arizona Bigfoot. I never heard it called the exactly like.
Oh, the Mogollon
I've
monster?
heard the words Mogollon monster, other people talking about it, but I was always they talked to me about Arizona Bigfoot.
That's really interesting.
Yeah,
I guess it might just be like a that might just be like a cultural thing or something.
It could be,
effect, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because it's it was in that same kind of area that I was going to high school in, Flagstaff. Because there's some cities that are very close to there, like Prescott and Williams, and a few others. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but those ones in particular, like I know that those were the areas that they supposedly were reported to be near. And then like near the Grand Canyon, but I actually didn't. I've lived here for 25 years and I've never gone to the Grand Canyon.
Oh my gosh. It's totally okay. I've lived in New York my entire life and I've never been to New York City.
Wow. So. That's even more shocking.
I know, right? Well, what can you do when you have no money? I've been to Niagara Falls.
What are you do? Well, there you go. That's okay.
I've been to Niagara Falls like 3 times, but never New York City. I just don't go east very often.
That's funny. Gotta go to have a reason to, right?
Yeah. I mean, granted, my fiance's best friend lives in Long Island, but what are we going to just go and see her best friend one time in 12 years? Nah.
It'll change soon. It'll be fine.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be underwater in a little bit, and I'm sure we could float right on over and see it.
Perfect.
They sunk it, you bastards.
Climate change.
Yeah. Serious ishes. Let's solve them now. Right. You thought we were talking about monsters. No, this is a political podcast now.
The real monster was us all along. Oh, wait.
Peek behind the curtain a little bit. Before I started this show, I was seriously considering using the sign-off line. Remember, the real monsters are fascists. But then I was like, I don't know. This is supposed to be a little bit more lighthearted. But it is true.
But the real terror remains.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, I agree with your statement. So,
yeah, no doubts. Fascists, fuck off.
Yeah.
So moving along, though, speaking of Arizona, and all of that, the big, Arizona Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff. There's also a lot of like technology stuff out in Arizona, right? Like a lot of like laboratories and stuff, at least theoretically.
As far as what now?
I don't know. I just figured it was like a myth, kind of like Nevada and, just the Southwest in general, just being like.
Oh, yeah, totally. Because, I mean, well, it's like when you get into reservation territory, there's absolutely like I've grown into a person who no longer believes in the paranormal the way I used to. I went on some ride-alongs with some people who were part of the Arizona Ghostbusters. I used to be really big into like ghost stories and stuff like that out here. And there's a lot of like haunted stuff out here. So there's a lot of definitely like areas like Flagstaff even has some haunts. But it's all anecdotal. There's all a bunch of stories. It's all people who, and there's a lot of people who like to go hike and go backpacking in the Grand Canyon. I have a lot of friends who did that. A lot of families in Flagstaff specifically. It's a big draw for people to who are like active in like hiking circles to live in Flagstaff. And obviously then they go to Grand Canyon and all Mogollon Rim and all the places. And there's people who, I had friends who would be like, oh, we're going on a trip to the Mogollon Rim. We're going to hike it. And I'm like, that sounds great. See you later.
Have fun.
I am not into that kind of fitness. So
that's fair.
But I would hear stories in those particular. So like people who were really active in camping said that they heard sounds that they couldn't explain, that they smelled things that were very weird, that were very strange, that they couldn't place, that smelled like one thing, but there's no reason for it to be around. I have a lot of, Native American friends that would say that there was things out there, and when they said it, it's like you believed it. Because it's the way they deliver it and the way that they were, the terror when they were, like, someone wouldn't even want to talk. Like, they would talk about it just to say, hey, yeah, that's real. And then they would like back away and like no longer speak about it. So, just the way that was, so that was always, and then we would go to, we had one football team that we played that was on the reservation. It was near Chinle, or was Chinle, and on the Chinle reservation. And that is a trip that I will never forget because weird things happened. And our Native American players were spooked. And it was it was a spooky time, and I will tell you that at a later time. I don't want to take up I know this is like a spooky theme here, but that's a story for another time.
All right. Well, I look forward to having you on again so we can talk about that then.
Absolutely. But as far as like, nobody's seen, like, there's been no evidence. There's been no like, hey, here's a footprint, I forget where it's at. Was it near the Appalachian Mountains or whatever, where like they've tried, some of this has been debunked, and there's people who are out there actively tracking down a Bigfoot on the other side, other parts of the country, but like nothing from the area where I grew up or in Arizona like had anything like that in particular relating to the Arizona Bigfoot or Mogollon monster. Just stories.
I gotcha. But so what I was saying is like, do they have like laboratories out there, like that kind of like technological thing? Not necessarily related to that, but just like there's a lot of tech like in the Southwest in general, unless I'm mistaken, right? Like a lot of
you mean like scientific research centers and stuff?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was kind of like going off on a tangent here.
Okay.
There's totally a lot of like down towards Tucson. I think it's on Mount Lemmon. There's a lot of telescopes and things like that where they're tracking, night sky activity. There's a lot of stuff locally in Phoenix, in Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona, that especially since the Phoenix Lights. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that was like a kind of mass.
No, it's news to me.
Look it up. It's I lived here when that happened. It was a mass sighting of lights in the sky over Phoenix.
All right.
And traveled through, and cool. There's a few videos that people took. Of course, they're like the little shitty. So like whenever that happened, there was a big draw for some people to come out here and try to investigate, and obviously they didn't find anything. There are a lot of research centers, but most of it is dealing with, yep, that's it. That's not the real image, but
sure it is. What are you talking about?
If you turned all the lights off, or all the, you took the sun away, that's what it looked like. And it was kind of creepy, and it was a strange time. So,
I can imagine.
But there's a lot of, near Tucson. There is an observatory in Flagstaff. That's actually where Percival Lowell found Pluto.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was part of the history of that region.
Yep, I actually know the descendant of Percival Lowell, so
Wow.
it's very intertwined in my family's history. So,
fancy.
yeah, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of study of the sky, but not necessarily paranormal outside of small groups that would go around. Like I said, the Arizona Ghostbusters, they would go around to different places to kind of do paranormal research and things like that. I know there's little groups that do that, but
yeah. But okay, so not a lot of like research labs or anything like that.
I wouldn't, and not that I can recall. Like, I guess if hey, we're researching,
We're researching.
like what's that Skywalker? Or it was a Skinwalker Ranch people that are doing that thing. Those guys are in a different area, but there's nothing like that I know of out here.
Gotcha. Well, the reason I ask is because the Monster-matic just spit out a thing that says this monster was created in a laboratory experiment gone wrong and escaped into the wilderness. It now roams free, wreaking havoc on unsuspecting humans.
So let's talk about something real quick. This is not necessarily on the same page, but this is a true story. The FBI busted a place right down the street from where I used to work for 8 years. For being they touted themselves as a cryogenic freezing place. Like you want to freeze your body for future, right? Whatever. And turned out it was just a front for the mob, and there was a bunch of this is where if you needed to disappear somebody, they were putting these. This is where the body parts went. And so the FBI got wind of this and busted them, and they were taking body parts out of this place, this scientific lab that was there. So I guess we could count that, because who knows, maybe that wasn't what that was, and that was just the cover story. Maybe there was a creature that was being produced Frankenstein style.
Housed there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting. Those are the dead people that it killed.
Yeah. So what do you think that would like show up in its appearance? Like, do you think it would look like a Frankenstein monster kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. We can toss that in there.
Yeah.
But this is like a, best body parts kind of, maybe like even like not misshapen, but misaligned body parts to give it different features. So like you got longer arms we kind of like did that with the other ones. So maybe there's longer legs so it can have a longer stride.
Okay. That makes sense.
Maybe they've added extra muscles like to like enhance strength. So like, it's very Hulk-like.
Of course. And it's very tall.
Yeah.
Do you think it ambulates well, or do you think it like
I feel like the gait moves on it is a little like I hate to bring up somebody who played a certain superhero that had a certain movie that just came out, but the way that person in particular runs.
Okay.
Do you know where I'm going with this? Are you picking up what I'm saying? I don't want to give that person any extra promotion, but yeah, a very almost like they're walking, but they're going as fast as me running.
Okay, so they walk really fast.
So it's like a very exaggerated step, but it creates so much torque and force that it throws it. They can just outpace anybody by just long striding.
That's really that's an interesting way to look at it then. So it's got the best body parts, like longer legs, so it has a longer stride, and they just infuse it with more muscles so that it has extra strength. It walks really fast, but it has a exaggerated step, and it outpaces everybody just by long striding. Okay. Do we think that it has like a decent looking like human face, or do we think that it looks like something else?
Let's say it has a very human looking face, but upon further investigation, if you were to get up close, it's like the skin is made of, it's like layers, so that the features can morph, so it can kind of disguise itself.
Oh, that's interesting.
So kind of like what am I thinking of?
I don't want to go almost with, like
is it octopus? No,
almost like Rorschach from.
Yeah, kind of like that, but more with like human, features. Like a better facial feature recognition. Like it looks like an eyeball, but like unless you got really close and it was bright out, it was like noon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you see the translucent stuff underneath because the skin kind of maybe moves underneath, like because you can see things kind of moving underneath it because it acts more like a.
It's got like almost like a thin like mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a movie that I've seen recently. I can't think of what it's called, but there's something where it's like somebody's wearing a mask that has like basically like makeup on the front of it. It's like very painted on, but you obviously you can see their like emotions and stuff like that underneath it. I can't think what it is now.
Is he like a clown or a mime or something like that?
I think that was the case.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember it either. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. I just remember it was like a plastic mask that was like translucent and it had like rosy cheeks and like bright red lipstick and like eyeshadow on it, but like you could tell that like the face underneath it was like
not that.
I don't know.
No,
yeah.
That's a different movie. That's not the one I was thinking of. So no, you've diverted from what I was thinking of.
All right.
But yeah, kind of like what you're describing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I like that. So the face looks very human, but it's not quite as it appears.
Right.
Let's see. What kind of fashion sense do you think it would have?
I don't know. Let's say it's like super intelligent. And so this like skin chameleon thing is an all over thing. It's not just his face, it's his whole body. And so it can kind of like mimic different fashions as it picks up. So like it can blend in better. And it's kind of like its two features are it can blend in and it's fast.
That sounds, for something that like initially started out as like a Frankenstein thing, that's really freaky.
Right? It's like, okay, well, so like they Frankensteined it together out of body parts and added extra bone and muscle, whatever, to make like a super soldier. And then it got out of hand and this is what they got. And they kind of tried to mix some biotech, skin shielding, nanotech stuff that didn't go right. And that's why it's doing what it's meant for infiltration.
That's really cool. I like that idea. Meant for
assimilate.
Oh wait, that's a different thing.
Small genre.
Oh yeah. Do you think it can fly?
I'm gonna say because it's so fast, no.
Can't fly.
Like it's not really. It didn't. They don't have any flying abilities.
Sure. What do you think motivates it?
How about this? It's like, it's half baked. So it's still a child. And so it's like, I hate going back to like kids. This is what I'm bringing. So like, it's kind of like it wants to belong. So it goes place to place and tries to assimilate, just to like be around people until they notice, and then it scoots out.
Oh, so that would also mean that it's like afraid of being found out.
Right. So it's kind of like testing constantly. And as it does this, it grows and it matures and it can then take on certain things. Like it's learning as it goes. And so it's trying to sit around and listen to people talk so it understands how to speak and how to have a conversation again, because again, they're using parts of the human brain and, with some injections and things.
Right. It's almost like it's an AI, but in human form.
Yeah. But like an actual human, like this is the singularity.
Sure. I'm gonna pretend like I know what that is.
Yeah. Well, that's just the as soon as we start integrating tech into our brain, like what Elon is trying to do. Screw that dude, that like Neuralink thing. That's that's going to become the singular. That's kind of what it's like. Eventually, we're going to integrate with machines.
Mm-hmm.
But this is all bio. This is all biotech stuff. So,
all
it's
right,
not quite.
all biotech.
Yeah.
Nice. This went from being like really like cheesy to being really fucking cool.
Right?
Do you think it has any unique markings?
Absolutely. Like probably from the surgical stuff that's gone on. Even though it can like hide most of that, maybe there's something, the spine, it can't hide. There's a deep line cut right down the sternum to crotch area where, you know, things had to be moved around and sewn up multiple times.
Yeah. Almost like an autopsy.
Yeah,
like,
kind of. Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
The Y.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that. What are you talking about?
No, I've never seen an autopsy photo at all.
What causes it disgust? If you can't come up with anything for that, I've got a better one, actually.
You know what? I'm going to let you fill that one. I feel like I've monopolized this.
Okay. I think that what would cause it disgust is injustice, honestly.
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah, because
Yeah, because it's not like... It's got, like, a childlike intelligence, but even when you're younger, like, you could see something unfair in the world.
like it still has its humanity. Like, and on a base level, like morality doesn't rely on God or religion. It relies on the base instincts of humanity, and it's still there. That's freaking great.
Right. I mean, I think it makes sense anyway, but
I like
that's
it.
just me.
All right, of course. I mean, it makes sense to me too. And it wasn't trained yet, so it doesn't know that I'm supposed to be a killing machine. I just do it.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I know I'm murdering these people, but I have a reason.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, does it have free will, do you think?
I think it thinks it does. But maybe ultimately it doesn't.
Nice.
Like it at its core is still some sort of controlled menace. And so the right keywords or the right flashing of lights or the right things that, you know, should have been was programmed partially into it will still make it do things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Do we need to add anything else to this person? I guess we gotta give it a name.
Wait, I thought the name was. Oh, never mind. That's the next one, huh?
Oh yeah.
What is its name?
I thought you had a really interesting one with like the chameleon thing there. There was something that you said specifically that like really leapt out at me, but now I can't quite find it.
With the chameleon part, like how the skin and all that stuff like kind of changes.
Yeah, like it changes to blend in.
Like it's not camo.
Like this almost feels like it should have like a scientific kind of like robotic kind of name, but
oh right,
that also feels like that also feels I don't know.
The Bioshifter.
Ah, there you go. That's a pretty good one, actually.
Bioshifting, or the Bioshifter is what it's like. It would be colloquial called.
Yeah. That could be it's street name. You guys see that Bioshifter there?
Bioshifter.
Oh, what a
goddamn reptile. The reptiles everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, now we got Alex Jones calling.
No. From jail? No, wait.
No, he can't afford a phone.
Oh, right. He's just broke.
Yeah. So far.
Right, yeah. We'll see.
Okay. Bioshifter's a good one. God damn, there was like some. It's really gonna like. I'm gonna go back and listen to this later, and I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna be like, son of a.
That's the one.
That's the thing.
I was trying to think of like because it's shifting, but like I was thinking more of like a an octopus. How an octopus can like change its shape and color to this and texture even to is it an octopus? It's octopus, right?
I think that's a thing.
It's well, I mean, like they're amazing like, underwater, and like there's reason to believe that there's so much going on in their brain that we'll never understand it. Like they are aliens, you know what I mean? And so
yeah.
But that transformation, I forget what that's called.
I'm not really sure either. I can look it up.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we call them transmog.
Oh, there you go.
Because like, it's transmutating and transmogrifying what's around it and learning, and I kind of feel like that's
a good one. Is there an octopus that can change its shape? There's the mimic octopus, has a unique way of camouflaging. Rather than blending in the sea floor, it changes its skin color and how it moves its tentacles to take on the shape of other sea creatures.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. Like, watch videos of that. I can watch that all day. Because you'll just be sitting there watching, and you're like, dude, that's a turtle's head. No, it's not. What just happened?
Just kidding.
But that's how it gets away. So, and I think that's kind of very...
I could see this thing having that same kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how it reacts, until it's reached its full potential.
Yeah.
And as long as it hasn't seen enough yellow blinking lights, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I don't think we can call this a mimic. I feel like that's already taken.
I feel like that's some IP going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm okay with Bioshifter for now. If
okay,
you are.
Okay, we'll circle back.
We can workshop that a little bit later.
One. Yeah, that one seems very... So when I was a kid, we had this thing, the local library put on this thing, and part of the week-long event that, you'd go to the library every day, and it was to get kids to learn how to like read more. It was like a nice little community thing. And they had this thing where at the end of the week, like they wanted everybody to come up with a creature or a monster or, a fictional character. And
that's so cool.
I didn't know until like the day before that I was supposed to show up and do that. And they gave me like a few things to put together because all the kids that were already there had taken all the good stuff. And so I made like this weird spider thing and out of a cardboard tube and some wire. And I had to stand up there and tell her, and they're like, what's its name? And I'm like, because they didn't tell us that we needed to name it.
Of course.
And this is where I'm at right now. So I called it a Spitter Critter, but I was 7.
Yeah, I mean that's a good name too, though.
Thanks.
Spider Critter.
It was horrible.
Hey, you know what? I'll give you credit for coming up with it on the fly. Which is pretty much the whole thing of this show. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah, my pleasure. Did we make it any sort of human, do you think? Like in terms of I guess we did make it so that it has some kind of childlike innocence. So I guess that's humanistic enough.
I mean, it's learning from people. It wants to belong. It wants to find its what you would consider your tribe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very humanish. That's right. Good point. Okay. Do we need to add anything to him?
I feel like that's pretty. It's nice and spooky. It's got some cool, features to it already. It's not necessarily a dangerous. It's very cryptid, not so much monster. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's very uncanny, which is very visceral for people.
Right.
There's that word again. So. Yeah, no, I like this guy. The Bioshifter, as he is currently known. And right off into the sunset. Bioshifter. Kind of sounds like Hi-Ho Silver. Bioshifter, away!
And he runs.
Yes, but he looks like he's walking.
Right. It's just lumbering. He's so speedy.
It's that gift from the Proud Family. Where he's you know the one?
Wait, the Proud Family?
Yeah.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Yeah, hold on a second. Maybe I'm wrong. Holy shit, what? There's this one. gif with like I swear to God, it's the father from the Proud Family, and he's like running down the street with like his elbows like going up and down and stuff. It looked wacky. Oh, there it is. I found it. This one.
The cartoon. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's exactly.
The Proud Family,
That's it. That's exactly what I have in my head. Exactly.
That's how he walks. He's just got a weird walk cycle.
Oh man, I was like, what are you talking about? What gift? Are you talking about Lovecraft Country, the family band? Or what are you talking about?
No. Although I started watching that. I thought that was pretty cool.
I thought it was awesome. I was sad when I found out that they weren't making a season 2, but now it sounds like maybe they are.
Me too. What? This is the first time hearing about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a rumor, so
I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for
Don't
that.
listen to me, everybody. Maybe a lie. I got duped. I'm pretty easily duped on TikTok.
You and me both.
Man,
you and me
love
both.
TikTok.
I know, isn't it great? So wonderful. Isn't it wonderful, folks?
So wonderful.
So tell me, Lunchbox, are you a fan of dessert?
I love dessert. Brownies and ice cream are my kryptonite.
On the Notion page that I have set up here, I actually put a little picture in the cover where it's just a lunchbox that has a muffin in it.
I do love me a muffin too, but it's only breakfast. You know, that's not dessert.
That's not.
That's a hearty meal for the start of your day.
Yeah. What do you consider how do you delineate like a breakfast pastry thing from a dessert pastry?
I would say if it's got fruit, it could be either or. But if it's got like banana bread or almond or like this one's no, I'm gonna keep that one in there. Like if it's like a brown sugar or like banana bread or zucchini bread or something like that. That is specifically breakfast. Raisin, cinnamon, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If it's got fruit, it could be either or. But if not, then it's morning. It's morning time.
Yeah, for
me.
All right. No, that makes sense to me. I associate like the cinnamon flavor and stuff like that and raisins with breakfast as well. I feel like that's a pretty common thing. And, all of you raisin dessert defenders, feel free to make a comment because I need the engagement.
Like, get those raisins out of here.
Yeah. The California raisins, they're coming for me. You know how you can help me build up my defenses? By donating to the Patreon at patreon.com/justalittleguypod. Sorry, it's actually just a little guy.
Excellent.
I fucked up my own Patreon.
It's okay. You fix it in post.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Patreon.com/justalittleguy. Okay.
There you go.
How do you feel about oh God, I lost it. Never mind.
Pastries.
Let's move on. Pastries, yes. So the delineation between breakfast and dessert pastries. You said fruit could be either or.
Yeah, but if it doesn't have fruit, it's gonna go. It's morning. Chocolate or fruit can go either or.
Yeah,
but anything else, fair. It's gonna stay in the morning. Stay in the before 11.
Yeah. So if you went to like a fast food chain in the morning and you were to like pick up something sweet, what would your go-to be?
Oh man, like what time of day? And are you saying dessert or are you saying
before
like
10
food?
a.m.? Just like if you're going out for breakfast.
If I'm going out for breakfast, so fast food or any place?
I guess you can expand it to any place. I was just thinking fast food, but that might just be because we have a sorely lacking breakfast hub around here. We've got the Brugger's Bagels, and then every place that's like fast food. So like your McDonald's, your Taco Bell.
I'm a big fan of burritos, breakfast burritos. So anywhere that's got a good breakfast burrito, I'm gonna hit that. Croissants are also top tier. There's a place here called Bosa Donuts, and they have the most amazing croissants that it's a cream cheese, ham, and jalapeno croissant, and they warm it up, and it's huge. It's amazing. And that's like,
that sounds
those
wonderful.
are that and a breakfast burrito are like the 2 breakfast fast food places. If I'm going somewhere else, if I'm anywhere, like including like a sit down place, or maybe I'm just going to pick it up. I hate to admit it, but Cracker Barrel is amazing. Blackberry Diner, similar, also great. Love those 2 places.
Yeah, that's fair. And if you were to like get something sweet from there, what would you pick up?
So Cracker Barrel, it's going to be blueberry or peach cobbler. If I'm going to get myself a breakfast burrito, it's probably going to be a Mexican food place. So probably a strawberry filled churro. Or nice. If I'm going to the place that I talked about with the croissants, they also serve donuts. So I would probably get a donut.
Nice. All right. Well, that leads nicely into our next creature.
Oh,
yes. Believe it or not.
Surprise.
This one comes from my fiance, known online as Color Mania Art. This one is called the Fritter Critter.
Oh, dang it. Oh, the fritter. The fritter. Oh, that is a favorite of mine.
Yeah, no, ours too.
So the donut place, when I said donut, I actually meant fritter. That's what you didn't hear.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. That fritter, an apple fritter is top tier.
Very nice. Yeah, we usually get like a Danish or something like that, but she also loves the apple fritters. So, so yeah, the Fritter Critter. What do you imagine this creature behaves like?
Okay, so if it's a Fritter Critter, I feel like, is it trying to like hide as a pastry? Is it trying to be like a pastry? Because that's terrifying to me. That's sitting on a plate, just waiting for you to grab for it. Oh God.
Yeah.
It's all lumpy and stuff. So I feel like when you reach for it, it like senses that, and like the little nodules and stuff that kind of like separates, and inside, there's like, I can see it in my head, but like a mouth opening. I don't want to say like a mimic, but like, cause there's many more, but like every little orifice like can like separate, you know what I mean? Every nodule like separates. And then there's just this sarlacc pit going on in every little piece. And as you kind of reach down to it, it'll just wait for you to touch it. And then it just like, boom, grabs on.
Just like latches on.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I know this is kind of like a mimic, but let's be real here, folks. This is more like a critter from the movie Critters, but if it was in the form of an apple fritter.
Right.
A Fritter Critter.
A Fritter Critter. It's food.
Yeah.
Mimics don't
it's not,
be
it's
food.
not a chest.
It's not a door.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a pretty lady. It's not a ladder.
But see, I think that the differentiation between a mimic and a Fritter Critter is that the Fritter Critter only looks like a fritter, not that it's trying to actually pretend to be one, or it's it just happens to look like one, and it's not changing from a fritter to a donut or a bagel or a banana. It's always a fritter all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't have like it doesn't have like the ability to morph. This is what it is, and this is what it does.
Yes. It's a sticky blob of nodule, goo, and teeth. And just like, did you ever see the movie The Blob? Like from...
Which one?
Like it's not the oldest one. It's the first one in color.
Yeah, the
where
one
he
from the
pokes
80s,
it with
maybe?
the 80s. That one tripped me out. So when he pokes it with a stick, right? Like he goes up to the thing, and he like pokes it with a stick, and it like climbs up the stick, and it like grabs onto his arm. And that's how it just starts to eat him, and it gets bigger. That's kind of what I imagine is happening. That's what this thing does.
That's it.
It just becomes a bigger fritter, which makes it looks more delicious.
That's incredible. I never would have thought of that.
That's all I could think of when I was like, and now I kind of like don't want to eat a fritter.
Well, don't do that.
I mean, I kind of feel like this has turned me off for fritters, which is fine because I'm on a diet right now. So this is probably for the best.
Yeah, just, play this part of the episode for yourself over and over again, and you'll never want a fritter ever again. You'll be so traumatized thinking about the Fritter Critter that if it eats you, it will get larger. That you'll just never eat fritters again.
Right. But it never gets
Perfect
bigger.
diet.
It never gets bigger than just like a very large fritter, you know?
Oh,
Like it's never bigger than like a MacBook.
Never gets larger than a MacBook?
Yeah. I'm staring at one right now.
I've
I'm like, yeah, that's probably the
never
biggest.
seen a fritter that big.
It's probably the biggest fritter I would ever even consider looking at. It's like, oh, I didn't know how to make fritters. It's my first time and I forgot and I left everything together and I put it in the oven.
You know what? No, I could definitely see that happening.
And it
It's
also
a
ate
baking
my
accident.
dad. So
Oh, that was kind of weird. You don't see that every day. Oh no. Okay, I like that idea. Let's see. So, do you think it would have any kind of like powers, anything that would like besides looking like a fritter, or do you think that it's just kind of like it just already has this advantage? Why does it need to be able to shoot lasers?
I feel like it can't move right on its own volition. So I feel like it's got to attract people or some things to it, and so it puts out maybe like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a universal pheromone that will smell like whatever it is that you're attracted to, food wise, to bring you to it, to eat it, to pick it up. Because it wants you to try to put it in your mouth, right? So
it induces hunger.
It induces hunger. Yes, that. So it controls your hunger, and yeah. So that's how it gets. That's like, I don't know if you'd call it a superpower because it's like that's an actual triggering mechanism that we can. But it,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would call it a superpower either, but it's definitely like it's a thing it could do. It's already like, again, it's already in the form of something that it has no problem with finding victims.
Right.
So I don't think it really needs much more than like that. I think that a pheromone that would attract people, like
I got a superpower. Okay, so whatever goes in it, obviously it's got to give off waste, right?
Okay.
However, it doesn't. And so where does that go? Well, inside, it's kind of like an interdimensional pathway to another existence. And it's dumping out all those bones in this other alternate world. And if we could just crack the case of how these fritter critters digest their food, we could find ways to get to these other worlds.
That's wild. So, like, if you crack the code, you can like figure out interdimensional travel.
Yeah,
just go right to the
while it's
Fritter
busy
Critter
eating something else. If you can just get its gaping maw, because it can like stretch however far we need it to make a doorway, but it's just literally just digesting you, and its digestion process is how you get there. Put on a certain kind of suit, you know what I mean, and you can walk through it, or send like a drone through it or something.
Yeah, just be like, "Hoo-wee, that was something."
It's like
that was the crappiest experiment we've ever done.
Like the Stargate, but it's like a butthole.
Yes. Do you think that? Let's see. What do you think is its favorite snack? Do you think that it would be just people, or do you think it prefers something else?
I think it likes flesh, specifically.
I swear, if we go back to children.
No. Like, well, I was gonna say like it doesn't want to eat like cats or dogs. It wants no fur. It can't digest fur. It can't digest hair. So the only thing that it leaves is hair. But if it's full, like a furry animal or something, it won't even. No, not me.
Okay, so anything fleshy as long as it's not a furry animal.
Right. So you could actually feed it. You could like put like a steak next to it and it would eat it.
That's pretty cool. That would save you a lot of time.
And that's how you get to the other side, right? Like you're just like those ducks that they make the pate from, which is a horrible thing in itself. But that's kind of how you get to that dimension is you're just shoveling meats into it until it can't.
The endless meat pit that is the Fritter Critter.
It's just in a freezer. It's just a doorway interdimension.
Oh no, that's horrific. Yeah, I was thinking like before you said like to basically just stack a whole bunch of steaks in it. I was thinking like you put a steak on it, but then you shrink yourself into like one of those little ships from like one of the sci-fi movies, and you just ride it in.
Right.
But then I was like, that seems much more practical to like put like all the steaks and stuff inside of it.
We're just bringing it snacks, and you're just walking through while it's eating that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, or that.
Because you got to walk through the other side.
Oh, of course. What does it have any weaknesses?
Fluoride.
Fluoride. Oh wow. Probably because it like cleans the teeth, right?
Right. So I don't know why. I just thought that was funny because it's a sweet. Actually. It looks like a sweet, but like fluoride is actually a fairly astringent cleaner, and it comes in different forms. But like if you were to like squirt a tube of toothpaste on that thing, it's donezo.
Oh yeah, nobody's gonna want to eat a fritter after it's got toothpaste all over it.
No,
game over. Yeah, no, I can understand.
It can't produce the pheromones anymore.
Ooh. Do you think there are many of these, or just the one?
Let's say there's one for each dimension that exists in each other dimension. And they're like a version of themselves that have multiplied across interdimensionally. And they all, here we go. And they all are part of the same creature. So these are like mouths in different dimensions that are just sucking people, things into it to like sustain existence.
That's really interesting.
And that's where the Big Bang started.
Of course. It was a giant fart.
From hunger. A fart from hunger. Like,
Yes. This thing was just it had lactose intolerance that day. And it was just like.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. I mean, who hasn't been in that situation?
I mean, I did it yesterday. So,
Mm-hmm. No, I know exactly what you mean.
Common.
Yeah. All the time. Let's see. There's got to be another one here. When was it first discovered?
Well, the three we know about were discovered in I was gonna work in like a World War II like a science lab broke in after we busted up a group of people that were sympathetic to the specific party of that time in the bad guys' side.
Yeah.
But so we'll say maybe something like that. Like there was like those were in like unearthed in all of the things that group did, because they went around the world and tried to like collect a bunch of things to bring back. And so these are some of the things that they found in, because they did like there's like a big like in Antarctica. They went there to do some scientific research or something. And so let's say they like found them there. And that's where they're at. That's where they were.
Yeah, they were kind of like frozen in the ice.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think that was kind of how the thing started. Maybe not actually, but
I like it.
I'm going to pretend like it is. I like that idea.
I'm going to say that's where.
Nice. All right, what else do we got to add to the Fritter Critter, if anything?
I don't know, man. Tying it together with all the different dimensions and then a version of itself from each dimension in every other dimension, meaning there's... How many dimensions do we think there are?
At least 3, apparently.
No, see, I want to say like there's like 12 dimensions, right? Or no, I think that string theory says 11. And so there's these other ones out there just roaming around just somewhere, buried under some ranchers, well,
some guy's house,
it's underneath, it's in his right next to his foundation. It just was missed by inches. And then a pipe burst, and then there you go. Yeah, I think
that's really interesting.
That was like the big one for me is tying them all together as one singular organism from different dimensions. But they all harken back to that dimension, that initial, the connecting point between all the dimensions, and that's why we have the dimensions, and it has to be fed.
The Fritter Critter must be fed.
Critter must be fed. It's very much what was the Little Shop of Horrors?
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour. What's the plant's name though? Leroy.
Audrey 2.
Audrey 2. That's right. Why would I say? Leroy?
Yeah, I've been watching that. Like honestly, I don't know if it still is, but it was on YouTube Premium for like a long time.
Oh, nice.
And so that was like kind of my go-to movie while I was at work, like just killing time.
When I don't like musicals, but when I was a kid, I loved that movie.
It's such a great movie.
So
like
good.
Rick Moranis is brilliant. Like
Rick Moranis, I miss him.
Yeah, Steve Martin was like great. Like I don't think there was a bad performance in the whole bunch.
Nope, it was just so well done. And that's how you know it was good. Because me, someone who doesn't like musicals, liked it.
Yeah.
Quite a few musical numbers in there if I remember correctly.
Oh, so many. It's I find myself every once in a while just be like, suddenly Seymour.
Bursting into song.
Yeah.
My girlfriend would be like, who are you? And where'd you come from?
That's
well,
green.
You see, there was this fritter on the table and...
Do you think it sings like musicals as well?
Yeah, it sings musicals while it's digesting.
Oh my god!
But they're in a language that we don't understand.
I like this creature so much more now.
It's a good one. I really like this. This is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
I mean, we made some good ones. We made some bangers here tonight.
There were some really good ones. Yeah. All these little guys. You know,
all these little guys, and this is the littlest little guy.
It sure is, but apparently also the biggest at the same time.
I mean, technically, on a galactic scale, sure.
Yeah, it spans dimensions,
but
as do we all.
Yeah, I like how it's called. It's just a little guy, and the Trans Strider is like he could be like 7 foot tall.
Oh yeah.
But when he's scared, he sits down, squat style, and like wraps his arms around his front of his legs, and that's his resting position.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So he folds up. He's like the medium luggage size.
That was for what now?
The second one that we made, the long strider,
the Bioshifter.
The Bioshifter. I was
Maybe
trying to think
of the Biostrider.
I called it Biostrider, didn't I?
Bioshifter,
because we were talking about how it was striding a Bioshifter.
Yeah. But like, Bioshifter makes a lot more sense than Biostrider.
But I kind of feel like that's good too. So
yeah, maybe we'll save that for the next one, or maybe we could swap them out interchangeably. I don't know.
Shift Strider. I don't know.
Maybe Shift Strider is a good one too. Oh no.
Just call him Boost.
There you go. His street name is Boost.
Boost Mobile.
See him around the corner. You're like, "Hey, Boost, what are you doing here?" Yeah, that's a good point. Its name is Boost, and he's very mobile. It's legally distinct from that thing.
It's very legally distinct. The IP has not become infringed, and we spell mobile differently.
Yeah, and we spell Boost with a U with an umlaut.
It's all one word.
Hmm? Boostmobile.
Right. No, wait,
say.
Now he's a car. No. We messed up. We may have taken a wrong turn here.
Hang on a second. We got to go back. Beep,
Boop,
beep,
boop, boop, boop,
beep. No, okay. We almost did an Elon there.
Oh. You're
almost
right.
Cybertrucked ourselves.
His name is X.
Oh, no.
His name is
legally distinct.
His name is Triple X. No.
Oh, his name is Vin Diesel.
Dim Diesel.
Oh, Dim Diesel. Not to be confused with Jim Caviezel.
Of course not. No.
Nobody should be confused with Jim Caviezel.
Except for Jim Caviezel, because he is.
Oh, I mean, he's just confused.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's confused. I'm confused. Excuse.
Oh no. All right.
We'll
Do we
cut all
need
that out.
anything else? Oh, of course. Yeah. No, I'll find a delineation where I could be like, yeah, this is going in the blooper bin. I do. By the way, I have like what I've been doing lately is I will find like little sound bites in the episode and just cut them out and like save them to my Discord.
Nice.
Like. So I've got one where like Zoe B's like, I love Mothman. He's so cool.
Oh, I remember that part. I did see that part. I listened to the part where she was going off about Mothman.
Yeah. And then there's one where Star said like, kill a man, take his arms. And that now has a permanent space in my my Discord. So
Perfect.
yeah, so I'm sure I'll go back and I'll find something from like our conversations and be like, that's going in the
That's gonna
soundboard.
be lunches.
Contribution. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to get this like boosted more so I can get more slots. Okay, but besides all that, we don't need to add anything else to the Fritter Critter. It's perfect.
Yep.
Just as it is.
I enjoy it.
Yes. So Lunch, is there anything that anywhere people can find you on the internet or like anything that they should follow for more of you?
Yeah, social media, as many as I can get my hands on, because there seems to be about 1,000 these days, but at the Lunchbauks or at Lunchbauks, LUNCHBAUKS. It's spelled a little differently. I stream on Twitch, taking a bit of a hiatus. I'm kind of repackaging some things, going to be hitting the D&D, TTRPG stuff pretty hard this next year. So I've been kind of taking some time off to work with this new beta program that allows you to create worlds using Unreal Engine 5 and try to invite some people in to play some games, try to get something that I can is streamable. So between that, doing some art, I have a tarot card project built around streamers that I just filled the last spot on. So that's what I'm kind of working on. Outside, you can follow me on, I have some of the process on TikTok, and I have some of the images on my Instagram, again, at the Lunchbauks. And so, yeah, you can check me out there, and then stay tuned for up and coming TBD stuff.
All right. Awesome. Hey, thanks again so much for being on here. I had a lot of fun. We'll have to do this again sometime in the future, especially because we keep on coming up for new names, like coming up with new names for stuff.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I will talk to y'all later. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again for listening to Just a Little Guy. Special thanks goes out to all of our patrons who continue to make this show possible, especially those who subscribe at our incomprehensible cosmic abomination tier, whose names I will read out right now. Thank you to our longtime friend, Taru Tikkanen, as well as our newest patron, D. Solari. Solari. Why does that name sound familiar? I am eternally grateful for your generosity. As ever, if you'd like to support our show, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/justalittleguy. That's Lil, as in the Roman numerals for 51 and 50, respectively. Want to check out Lunchbox's work, but don't want to do all that heavy typing? Don't sweat it. I've included links to all of his projects in the description. Thanks again for listening, and as always, beware the Fritter Critter.